Hey, what's up everybody? I'm going to be doing a video on a couple repairs I'm doing today on my motorcycle, mostly for my entertainment, but I figured some people might want to watch that as well. So what I have going on is it will not hold a charge. As you can see, we'll try to start it right now. Nothing. Lights are dimming. Battery is dead. I just wrote it last night. So, that is going to be most likely our stator and rectifier. I've already changed the rectifier, which is way down under here. It's going to be this piece. So that should be good. That's brand new. Our stator is going to be inside of here. And to do that, we're going to have to drain the oil, so we might as well do an oil change and spark plugs and an oil filter. So here's the new stator. This is going to be for the wiring, new clips, got a new gasket, always want to change gaskets, oil filter, got my oil, these are the boxes for the rectifier and for the stator, and then I also bought a battery maintainer slash charger, because it's always good to have it plugged up if it's just going to be sitting. So, we're going to break into this, it'll be in sections, and I'll just upload it all together. I shall return. So first things first, anytime you work on anything, you should always take out the battery or disconnect the battery. I'm going to go ahead and start charging this while I work on it so that it can be ready to go when I'm done. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is drain the oil. And I just ran into a little bit of a problem because I didn't have a drain pan or oil pan. So luckily we were out of chlorine, bought a new bucket, so I just cut this one off. We're going to use this as a drain pan. And we're going to be taking out this one right here. Oil drain bolt. Going to remove the fill cap so that we get some flow going through. It drains out a little bit faster. And oh, and also, I usually would change the spark plugs right now, but they only had 3 out of the 4 that I needed, so I'm going to have to go back tomorrow. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be back. Alright, break it loose. Now, once we get loose enough, we're going to start doing it by hand. Probably going to be messy. Also, I'd like to note that this is my first motorcycle, so it is the first one I have worked on. But it is an engine, and I'm familiar with those. So, I'm sure I'll run into some hiccups. And if there are people that work on bikes, don't judge me if I mess up. What I read, this is a pretty long bolt. Here we go. Alright, we'll let that drain and come back in a second. I'm going to go wash my hands. Okay, so as you can see, we have slowed down to a drip. I'm going to go ahead and tilt the bike back and forth a little bit so we can get the rest of the oil out. Okay, so that while that continues to flow, we'll come back and shake it a couple more times. In the meantime, I'm going to go have a drink. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, now that we have all the oil drained out, we are going to go ahead and remove this cover, which is where the stator is. To do that, we have to take this one off, which is only a couple bolts, and then we're going to take these off, and this should all come off in one piece. It will be very difficult to get off because there is a giant magnet in here, which is essentially what we're replacing. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking these off, and I will be back. Alright, well, to get to this one, I have to take off this chain guard, which I've pretty much already done. We're gonna have to disconnect right here as well. And then we'll get that off. Okay, so got this loose. And this is that last bolt for this cover. Chain covers off. Moving on to this one. Alright, we have all the bolts off. I'm going to try to take this cover off. From what I've read, it's kind of hard because it is a big magnet in there. It's a little loose, but I think it's going to take two. Hold on, let me put this down. Couple things here. We got the cover off. That's the stator. That's what we're going to be replacing. Let this hang for a second. You can see this gasket was broken, which would explain why there's so much shit down here. It had a little oil leak. This is this gasket right here. So luckily, oh, it's a little chewed up here too. This bike sat for about 3 years before it ran. So we're going to go ahead and change a lot of stuff. I do have the new gasket here, so we're going to do that while we're in here. You should always change gaskets if you have to open something up anyways. So let me go up and disconnect this wiring. It just runs up close under the seat, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to take these 3 bolts out right here. And then this whole thing should lift right out. The hardest part of all this is going to be running this wiring. So I gotta take this one out. This is staying. This runs deep in here. That's gonna be really difficult. We'll get there. Okay guys, we are putting on new connectors. Gonna crimp this in. Whenever you cut your wires, you wanna make sure that you got enough to crimp right here on the wire so it holds. And then the second crimp right up here will be around your actual wiring. Do too much and you can short stuff out. Too little and it's not going to hold on there. And then after that, we will put it into this. And that is going to replace the one that I just cut off. This one. I'm going to pull this whole thing out. This goes in the garbage. We're going to try to feed this thing back through before we put the clip back on. Okay, that was a pain in the ass. Finally got this sheathing through, so it has to go through this hole right here. Get this stupid front part. There we go. I had to get it through here, but it still needs to go up behind all this and come out up here. So I did the tried and true method. Got a good old coat hanger out, wire hanger, and then we're going to put the wires through this loop and pull it through to the top. And there we are. Now we will connect this to these, and then we will replace this one right here with this one. It's always good to have new connectors. So let's get that going. Alright, connections are complete. Give it a good tug on either side. Make sure your connectors don't come out. We should be good. Pull some of the sheathing back up here as protection. Tuck everything away nice and neat. And then we're going to put the actual stator back into the housing. Put the housing back on here. and we will be prepared to put some oil in it. Oh, we do have to change the oil filter before we do any of that, so we will do that next. Alright, so this part's pissing me off real good. It's getting really hard to line up, so I'm not going to be able to record it. I'm just going to show you when I'm done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after a huge pain in the ass and a lot of time, I finally got this stupid cover back on. But it's there. So now before we put oil in it, we're going to go ahead and change the oil filter, which is going to be right down in this pain in the ass area. I've already loosened it a little bit, so we should just be able to take it out by hand. Make sure we got our drain plug. There it goes, already leaking. I knew I was going to drop it. That's alright. So we'll let that leak out for a little bit. Maybe go take a shot and come on back. Put this oil filter on. Got the new one right here. Then we'll put some oil in it, and I'll have to do the spark plugs tomorrow. But hopefully we'll be running in about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so while I was waiting for all the oil to leak out, I went ahead and put this cover back on, chain guard back on. We'll throw this back on. This little cheapo piece. Line it up right. There we go. This will go right here. Do that. Tighten that up in a second. Meantime, we'll come back down here. Started putting the new oil filter on. Oil filters, you can take them off with an oil filter wrench, but you never want to tighten them with anything but your hand. If you over tighten it, you can strip it, and you're going to have a whole bunch of problems. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and fill it up with some oil and see where we're at. Alrighty, we got a ghetto funnel because I don't have one. I'm going to start filling it up. Should be 3 quarts. It's actually a little bit over. So put these in and we'll check it. Alright guys, I was about to tell you, always check to see if you're leaking any oil anywhere once you start putting it in before you fill it up. And it's a good thing I did because I'm a jackass and I completely forgot to put my drain plug in. So I lost about half a quart. So always put your drain plug in first. But more importantly, anytime you put your first quart in, step back for a second, let it sit, let it settle, and see if you have any leaks anywhere. We're looking pretty good now that I have it plugged up, and we're going to continue putting the rest of the oil in. Okay guys, we got everything back together. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and connect the battery. I'd say there's about a 50% chance that this thing starts up. I've never worked on a motorcycle before. And it kind of changed quite a bit altogether with the rectifier, the stator, oil. I'm sure there's something I screwed up somewhere. That's usually how things go, but we shall see here shortly. Alright, we're going to give it a shot. See what we got going on. Lights look good. That's a good sign. Guess we'll see. Looks like I'm gonna have to jump it. I don't think I have it charged enough. So we'll jump start the battery and see if it holds a charge. Alright guys, we're going to jump it real quick and then take it for a ride and see if it holds a charge. Woo! Stops you. Well, it runs, so that's a good sign. I'll be back. All right. So it drove fine, which is normal. So let's see if it starts back up, if it charged the battery on its own. That's it. Didn't charge the battery overnight, but it's working. Looks like we got it done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's work. We'll finish the rest up tomorrow. We got it on the charger, little battery maintainer / charger, and we will check it. I'll probably actually check it later on tonight and see how everything's doing. But that will conclude this day's work.